You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver. What the hell is that? Podcast.
Hello, everybody. It's that time of the week, the year again. It's that time of it's Beef's time of the month.
Yeah.
Time for him to have a fucking Red Bull or a 5-hour energy or something and wake the shit up because it's Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast time. It ain't Sleepy Boo Bye Bye Bear Bear time. You're not Dr. Bedtime. That's not your gimmick. Wake up, stand up, figure it out, and let's talk wrestling, everybody. Oh, God, I'm so winded. I am your host, Ransom the Madman, and I am also here with my co-hosts, the other hosts, the hostesses with the mostesses, Poot the Bard, Beef the Legend, Tiger Bomb Tom. We're all here. We're all queer. We're all going to talk about wrestling because that's what we're doing here today on this show, Wrestle Time Talk Time. Time Talk. Timetable to talk about wrestling Time Talk. AEW is a subject we didn't hit on our last pod episode. So we have to hit it now, right? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I right?
Hit it and quit it.
You absolutely could have said you absolutely could have said last cast and you said last pod, and that is wonderful, and I love you, Ransom. So yeah, AEW presents title changes, huh? Yeah. So last week was their big
fucking Punk and the Elite have fucked it all up.
Yeah, I mean things are crazy right now, man. Things are Looney Tunes.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, here's the thing: the product again. I'll state the product in the ring is fucking superior.
Yeah,
it is still great. So until the product is no longer great, like, they can have all the fucking main event talent they want to fuck off. It's still gonna be fucking great. So, last week they did their big I forget what they call it.
Grand Slam.
Thank you. Grand Slam. And we saw 3 new champions.
French Toast Slam.
We saw, oh my God, that sounds wonderful right now.
Man, I got a Denny's right up the road for me. Don't make me hungry.
Yeah,
I'll meet you there in a half an hour.
All right.
He won't.
No, you won't.
Lies.
Yeah, I was gonna say you never. Yeah.
I'm not going to come to your house to hang out with you, but I'll meet you at Denny's to eat.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, man. That Denny's down in New Kent's pretty sketch. Like,
No, it's not.
Lower
on Trenton Bridge Road.
Well, okay, but like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but
the one on Trenton Bridge Road is
sketch.
perfectly fine. It's not sketch at all.
Fucking 9:13 at night is probably not going to be full of the.
It's been under new management for a while. You need to go back again, Beef. Relax.
All right,
It's right next door to like a brand new medical marijuana dispensary, so it's going to be great. It's fine.
Hashtag
Hey, everybody,
not
welcome
sponsored.
to the P3 Presents Breakfast Cast.
Hashtag not sponsored by medical marijuana or Denny's. So anyway, AEW happened.
We were.
All right,
Love
buy
to be
both.
sponsored
Buy
by Denny's.
both. Or both. You hit the dispensary, you grab your sweets, you have some sweets, you go to Denny's, and you fucking fat guy out. Hell yeah.
Okay, that's it. I'm going to Lower Bowl, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
All right, I gotta go. I gotta get the fucking pancakes right now. Give me some of that big fucking French toast. All right. Anyway,
Some
fuck.
fucking French toast.
Jesus Christ, you people.
You people.
You heard me. Stop making me think about food. It's 9 o'clock at night.
I'm sitting here and I'm behaving. That's all I
know, Poot. You're the only
It sounded
one.
like he already hit.
I'm
He already
firing up my
hit
grill. I'm
Food
firing
already
up my
hit.
grill, and I'm tossing some ribeyes on there, and I'm gonna take a picture of me eating it, and I'm gonna.
Who
send it
already
to
hit
Beef.
the dispensary? He's way too mellow.
Yeah,
for
right.
this
He's
shit.
fucking mellowed the hell out.
Grill up a tomahawk steak.
What?
Huge.
What?
Hey, do we
Bruh.
have wrestling?
Bro.
We do.
Talk about food. I'm just gonna leave.
We're getting
Hey,
there.
We talked breaking kayfabe for like the first 15 minutes
Shut up,
last episode.
Tom.
We
This
can
isn't
talk.
about you.
Shut
Yeah,
up, Tom.
It wasn't about me last time either. Fuck.
That's the way it
All
needs to
right.
stay. Let's talk about wrestling.
So, 3 new champions that
Pancakes.
were crowned at 3 new pancakes were crowned at Grand Slam. The Ring of
damn
Honor
it.
Championship.
No, I spit it out my nose. No, no, no.
No.
Oh, that was an energy drink. That was a no.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
no,
puke.
it's on me. It's so on me. Oh,
this is terrible.
Pancakes were crowned. That's it. I'm out.
Damn you, Beef.
Well, you know. All right, so.
Oh, fuck.
Champions crowned. Fucking double nothing. No, fuck. The Grand Slam. Go.
Okay, so it was John Moxley. He was one.
He was. You're right.
He did a thing.
He is officially a 3-time AEW champion.
Why haven't they made that a big deal? Like they haven't really. Like I haven't heard them making a big spectacle about it. But like
because he's a transitional champion. That's like his role in the company.
Champion. He squashed Punk in the weirdest match AEW has ever had. And the second time he became a champion is because Punk couldn't keep his fat flapper shut, and the fucking Elite went in and just started punching things.
I'm old, I'm tired, I'm hurt, and I work with children. It's just a fucking great clip, man.
How do you make the claim that you're the best in the world and then come firing out the gate with, I'm old, I'm tired, I'm hurt, these people are making me so grumpy, I'm very upset about how all these people treat me.
I want my senior discount at Denny's.
I'm still the best in the world, never the fuck mind that I just got hurt back to back. Just call me fucking Bobby Fish, I'm the best in the world. Shut up, CM Punk, you're a giant waste of breath.
Phil Brooks' arc is absolutely that of Wolverine. He has absolutely turned into Old Man Logan. He's a crotchety old bastard who gets along with no one and is just going to die along the road somewhere. Anyway.
Hopefully sooner rather than later. He's the worst.
Boy, that's a terrible thing to say. So anyway, yes, Moxley is a 3-time champion. And it's crazy to think about that if Punk had never gotten hurt coming into the Summer of Punk Part 3, like we wouldn't even have a 2-time champion at this point. So it's fucking crazy town to think that we have a 3-time champion, but we do.
Yeah.
The Acclaimed won the tag team titles that they probably should have won at All Out.
Scissor me, daddy ass.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them.
Chris Jericho is your new Ring of Honor champion.
Weird,
and he put on a hell of a contest with Bandito last night. And I think much of the wrestling world was introduced to Bandito, one of the best wrestlers in the world right now.
Who was
I don't see that as weird.
Well,
I know a lot of people are very shitty on that, and they don't like it. They think it's weird, but I don't.
I'm not saying I don't like it, but it's weird to me just because of the fact that they had that title put on Claudio like not that long ago. And now hear me out on this. I'm here for it only because of the fact that it lends more credence to the fact that, hey, you have to tune in to watch, because a title defense doesn't necessarily mean the title's only going to change hands on like major pay-per-view events or anything like that.
This isn't WWE.
I enjoy that there's that spontaneity that it makes you tune in to watch. Like, you don't know, like something could happen like that. Like you could get 3 new champs, or you could get 3 new champions in one night, or you could get a title change on a Wednesday night. It's good. I like that. I like the intrigue. It's just the only thing of it being weird to me was the fact that Claudio didn't have that title for very long, and I was hoping that they would give him a sustainable, good major title run with that. Because let's face it, Claudio has been somebody for a long time that was really, really underutilized and should have, by all rights, been a world champion much sooner than now. You know what I mean?
My only gripe at this point, and it's
grumble,
kind of a gripe, kind of not a gripe. I don't know how to preface it. I guess it's a worry, a fear. I'm worried that the Ring of Honor titles are becoming nothing more than props to elevate AEW feuds. They had Wheeler win the Pure title, and then lose it to Daniel Garcia to kind of further this whole, like, will he or won't he with the Blackpool Combat Club and with the Jericho Appreciation Society. And now they've added Jericho holding the Ring of Honor title with beating Claudio. And so now that's all kind of mixed up in this too.
Who has the TV Ring of Honor TV title right now?
Oh,
yeah,
Joe. Samoa Joe.
Still
Samoa Joe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I like.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
And this isn't a smart-ass question. I legitimately don't know. Does Ring of Honor have a televised show?
No, not the new Ring of Honor. They do not.
No.
Does the new
yet.
Ring of Honor have scheduled like pay-per-view events yet?
Kind of.
I haven't heard of one in particular, like not specifically Ring of Honor.
Is it a Ring of Honor branded pay-per-view?
What was the one that just happened? Was that Death by Dishonor?
Yeah, there was that. Yeah, because that's where Claudio won the Ring of Honor.
Exactly.
Title. So there's been that one so far. Like I haven't heard of any other ones upcoming. That's the last one that there was since Tony Khan purchased Ring of Honor.
So I hear what Beef is saying about the Ring of Honor titles becoming props for AEW feuds, but I kind of maybe see the other side of it where if Ring of Honor doesn't have a show yet and they don't have an established schedule of pay-per-views, this kind of keeps those titles visible. More visible than like if you just have somebody come down like with the belt.
Right.
Like if the belts are bouncing around, that gets more visibility. Like, freaking this guy won the freaking thingy do, and they won the what's it has a I can't remember, the Ring of Honor. Like, you know what I mean? Like it keeps them visible and in people's eyes, because if there's not a Ring of Honor TV show and there's not going to be like, okay, we're going to have 5 or 6 Ring of Honor pay-per-views a year, if that's not been hashed out yet, this makes it more visible than just Claudio comes down to the ring and is introduced as the Ring of Honor champion. I mean, it still gets eyes on it, but this, you know what I mean? Like this pushes it a little further into view. Like, oh, these titles are changing hands, and they're like, now Jericho's a Ring of Honor champion, and this person's that Ring of Honor champion, and it shifts around. So I can see where title switching more rapidly than normal would be okay in my eyes, until Ring of Honor was like an established brand. Like if they had their own TV show or if they had their own dedicated pay-per-views, then I want that title switching to dial back, because they don't need to do that anymore. That's just the way that I see it. I could be dead wrong. I don't know.
Well, and the other side of this is the man holding the title now is quite possibly the greatest professional wrestler of all time. There are very few people other than Chris Jericho who I would want to be holding the Ring of Honor title, because it's going to get them acclaim. And if they do have a TV show coming up, if you're going to make him the centerpiece and say, look, Chris Jericho's the champion, of course he's going to be part of the television product. Whether or not that's a bait and switch, who gives a fuck, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, whether or not that's a bait and switch, they can still make that claim saying, hey, look, he's the champion. So, and it helps for, like, you know, pay-per-views and things like that. I just believe that he could bring some eyes to the product. But I want to see where it goes. You know, he easily could end up losing the title to to Bryan Danielson. You know, he could be the guy that like puts the title back in Danielson's hands. You know,
sure.
Which would be fitting. I just feel like we're kind of in a wait and see mode with that. I like the move, but I'm with Tom. I feel like Claudio probably deserved a little bit of a longer reign. I feel like Claudio probably deserved a little bit more of a spotlight than what he got.
Can I throw something in here just because?
Yes.
And nothing against this episode of the podcast, but just because AEW has not been in my transom the past couple weeks. Not for any specific reason other than being busy, but it seems like AEW needs to kind of get their shit together with having these titles bouncing around or like kind of making knee-jerk decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, obviously there was a lot going on, with the whole fallout.
World title,
yeah,
right.
with the world title and the trios, like that was understandably so because of all that shit that happened. But you're not wrong in a sense. Like I think
TK views the Ring of Honor titles like bonus. He's like, here are my prestige titles. Here are the titles that I'm worried about, the AEW titles. And I think that he views the AEW titles, Ring of Honor titles, the AAA tag team titles, any like New Japan titles that end up on the show. I think that he views them as like bonus material. He's like, here's something else that I have at my disposal. And I think that he's going to treat them as a secondary, kind of thing, which is fair. It's not Ring of Honor presents Dynamite. It's not New Japan or AAA presents Dynamite. It's AEW Dynamite. So, like, I get it. But, and like I said, I'm here for it. I think at first I was not a fan of the decision. At first, I absolutely thought it was dog shit. But now I think I'm a little bit more okay with it. I think I'm a little bit more at ease knowing that it's Chris Jericho. If it weren't Chris Jericho, I'd be a little bit more worried.
Yeah, okay.
Now, that said, as I mentioned, there are other championships that have changed hands. Moxley obviously being one in the Acclaimed. I really like what Tony Khan did with the Acclaimed. I think that was a proper course correction. I don't think the Acclaimed are supposed to win. But I think that their response at All Out was way too big of a fucking deal. That he couldn't just, put it aside. And so I like that he fixed it. Just smart move.
Now, in regards to the world title, do you think they made the right move with Moxley, or would you have rather seen Danielson? And if so, why or why not? I'll ask Poot first. Maybe.
What you think that Moxley is a solid choice?
Well, I'm saying, do you think they made the right choice putting the world title on Moxley instead of Danielson, or do you feel like it should have been Danielson?
I think it should have been Danielson because, okay, cool. In your short history as a company, you now have a 3-time champion. Also, no offense to Moxley, I like Moxley. I like where he's at. I like his character and everything. But it's a couple different arguments here. Number one, how much tread does Danielson really have left on the tires? Give him a run with the belt. Give him a run with the belt. Let him take it. You could do something interesting with the internal workings of Blackpool Combat Club. Not that you're going to break up the group or that it's going to create bad feelings, but because they're all about fighting and honor and everything like that, you could have it be like, him and Moxley always are constantly duking it out for the belt, and Danielson gets one over on him. They're still buddies, and it's like it's the first fight that Tyler Durden and the narrator have together, where after they're done, they're hugging it out and having a beer. You know what I mean? Even though Moxley doesn't drink anything but blood now, but like which good for him. But like,
yeah.
I think it just would have been more fun because Danielson is a really, really good champion. He's very charismatic. He would be really good for a lot of the kids to work with him. Like and when I say kids, I mean younger, less experienced talent. I think he would do really well with pretty much anyone who's in the upper echelon of AEW who would actually make a believable run for the belt. And, I think it just would have been something fresh and new. No offense to Moxley. I'm not done. It's nothing against Moxley.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. He's solid. People really like him. And it is cool as someone who is fairly an AEW, like, quote unquote, founding character, founding personality, someone who's been there, who's a stalwart, and setting the bar for the future. So whoever is the first 4-time AEW champion, it'll be actually a big deal. That's fine.
Yeah, I think who cares?
But that's fine. But still, I think the only reason they put the belt on Moxley is because MJF taking it off him will be more entertaining than him taking it off of Bryan Danielson.
And
that was going to be my point, is that this is very likely going to be a transitional champion. By all accounts, MJF is supposed to win it all out. MJF's going to win it full gear. These are like facts that I'm stating right now. Having Danielson's first run as an AEW champion, and potentially only run as an AEW champion, being 2.5 months, if that, is a spit in his face. So while I think that Moxley's having a career year, and I think that he's absolutely taken the mantle of AEW upon himself and is crushing it. And I would have rather pretty much have seen anybody else out there win the belt, except for Danielson, because again, I think that Danielson's a big enough deal that when his first title reign happens, I don't want it to be like a month and a half. I want it to be like a big title reign.
Yeah, and I mean that was going to be something that I was going to bring up. Is I personally I would have liked to seen Danielson win it instead of Moxley, but for storyline wise and for seeing who's one holding the casino battle royale chip being MJF, I feel like storyline wise it does work out better that Moxley has it rather than Danielson. And like you said, I'd like to see if Danielson is going to get a run with it. I'd like it to be somewhere between like a 6 month to a year run, not like 2.5 months. Yeah, it's crazy. You said something, Beef, about Moxley having a career year, and I wanted to throw this out there real quick. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this. This is diverting a little bit. Not long ago, they came out with the PWI 500. I don't know how much stock you guys put into any of that, but surprisingly, Moxley didn't make the top 10. He was like number 12. But now, like, this all, like, the timetable that they have for is like a set timeline. Like, it goes from like July of like whatever, like evaluation periods, like July 1st of whatever year through June 30th of the following year or something. So like there's some people on there, like Big E was in like number 9 or something for this list that just came out. So obviously this was like before he got his damn neck broken or anything like that. Bryan Danielson, who made the top 10 in there. So it's either one obviously like would have been a good choice because they're both wrestlers that have been recognized, and have been having really, really good career trajectories and stuff like that. But it's hard to see the hot potatoing be like and just the fact that Moxley has it again or whatever, for the third time he has.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
it's weird. It's just weird. It's like it's not necessarily
not really hot potatoing though.
And well, it kind of is, because in a perfect world, Moxley never gets that title a second time. That was never supposed to have happened. Like, CM Punk was supposed to hold the belt until All Out, at which point he lost to MJF, and then MJF was supposed to go on a big long fucking tear.
Right.
And like CM Punk, and I'll lay this at his feet. Absolutely dropped the ball. Both times. Because even if CM Punk doesn't pop off at the mouth and give us one of the greatest sound bites ever, he still had to have reconstructed, or not, I don't know if it's reconstructed, but he still had to have surgery on that arm. He still would have been out an indefinite amount of time. Like
his foot or whatever, he had reconstructed, like his it's like.
But I'm talking about the one that happened at All Out. He still would have had to have his arm fixed too. So we still would have had another interim champion.
Yeah.
So like it's just very, very weird. How the AEW title went from being very prestigious and like very, like big long reigns to having fucking 3 holders. Punk beating Hangman, Moxley winning the interim, Moxley beating Punk, Punk beating Moxley, and now Moxley beating Bryan. 5 title changes in the span of 3 months. That's insane to me.
They're working within
the real world, right?
Yeah, like it's not they're not flip-flopping titles just because for funsies.
Right.
Like these are all extenuating circumstances. Like Beef said, Punk would have never lost that title to Moxley. Moxley would have never been an interim champion. It's all like they're working as best they can with what they have and the situations that they have. Like injuries are something that you kind of have to run with. Like people are going to get hurt, so you got to kind of adapt. And I think what they're doing is they're adapting as best as they can. I think Moxley winning this title was the right call, because as much as I want to see Daniel Bryan Danielson as the champ, I don't want to see him as a transitional champion. And that's exactly what this current reign here is. So I have 0 issues with Moxley winning, because I don't want Bryan Danielson to be a transitional champion. I want him to be a legit champ with a legit reign, not just someone who's holding the title until the next pay-per-view when MJF takes it off of whoever's holding it. I think he's better than that. And honestly, I'm even a little bit more excited to see Daniel Bryan Danielson as the freaking Ring of Honor champion, because while that's not probably kind of, I don't know, looked at as a big a deal as the AEW championship, Daniel Bryanson has history with that company and that belt.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I would get more of the warm and fuzzies seeing him win that and hearing a promo where he's like, "Hey, this is back where it belongs. Like, this is home for this title." That I think does more for me, even though that belt isn't on the same pedestal maybe as the AEW belt. Either way, I'm good with it.
Sure. And that was not the only noteworthy thing that happened. Those were not the only noteworthy things. Also, last week, in a surprising return, Saraya has come back, a.k.a. formerly known as Paige.
I got to stand up for this. I was laying down, but I got to stand up. All right. Ready?
I'm listening.
Oh no! I came unplugged.
Huh?
I came unplugged. I stood up so fast I came unplugged.
Go on. It sounds like Ransom has a point, and I'm excited to hear it.
I can't. So what just happened? I'm sorry. What happened?
Paige came to AEW as Soraya.
Soraya came, but yes.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I had a drink. I had to wet my whistle for this. Ready? If anybody can't tell, I'm squatting down so I can take in a big deep breath here, right? Big fat who cares?
Wow.
I care. I mean, I think.
Who cares? Beef, I know you're excited. And I think I'm looking at this with hindsight.
All right.
Because everybody got the biggest wrestling raging boner when CM Punk came back. Fans in the crowd were fucking crying. Oh, he's back. The wrestling savior is back. He's back.
Don't out beef like that.
He's going to make changes. He's back. This is the greatest thing ever. I'm so happy. What has he done? Nothing. Injury, whining, crying, bitching, suspended. So you cried and you bonered over fucking nothing. So my big who cares is because how long has it been since she has stepped in the ring and actively wrestled? Big fat long time. So yes, while her name has history to it, that's kind of like saying, hey, this guy who wrestled a long time ago is back and they're going to wrestle again. I'm saving any sort of excitement until we see what the heck they do with her and what the heck she can do in the ring. Because if she's garbage, all this excitement, that's all the air being left out of the balloon. That's all it is. So, yeah, her name's a big deal. But it's not like she just came off of a 2-month rest and recoup break, and now she's back to have banger matches. Bangers and mash? Banger matches. I have no idea what she's going to be like in the ring. She's not even yet been medically cleared to wrestle. The time is far too early to get all hoop-de-doo and start crying and weeping and, she's back. I'm so happy she's back. Shut up. Give it a minute. End of speech. Ron Swanson.
Okay. I'm a little bit more excited because this, Paige absolutely was like the person I think who spawned like hey, maybe
gross.
These ladies can actually wrestle. Let's give them a shot.
She was definitely a part of it. Big part of it.
I mean,
thought that was other people. I didn't think that was her.
No. I mean, she was the person who brought the NXT Women's title to Raw, and then beat the Bella, whichever Bella for the women's title, and or the Divas title.
She did that to AJ first.
Was it AJ? You're right. I apologize. It was AJ.
Yep.
Because
then they became friends for a while. Then AJ almost did the same thing to Paige.
Right. Paige had the belt for a long, long time. Like, she was really at like the precipice of NXT becoming a hotbed for women's wrestling. So I absolutely think that she has some tread on the tires left. The only question I have is how closely AEW wants to be to becoming the Reclamation Project people, and like what happens if it goes wrong. So like what happens if she comes back, she gets hurt again, proving that she never should have been cleared in the first place. Kind of the same thing with Daniel Bryan, like what happens if he suffers an injury that makes his quality of life diminish? Like, are we bad people for wanting to come back? Are we bad people for wanting to see that? Like, yeah, and I understand that these guys and gals are adults, that they're making their own decisions and that, like we have nothing to do with it. But at the same time, I feel like if we weren't constantly, and this the royal we, like if we weren't constantly like, beckoning them, saying, "Oh, please come back, CM Punk. Please come back, Daniel Bryan. Please come back, Paige." Like I wonder if they would still have the same fire to do so.
Well,
Regardless, I'm excited to see where it leads because I think that this is the kind of stuff that the women's division needs. And I think they're really starting to put together some power players. And I think that the women's division is becoming very, very, very good in a short amount of time.
I'm not disappointed that she's back. I'm not upset by it. I'm somewhere in between Beef's excited and Ransom's big fat who cares. I'm reserving, I think it's cool that she's back. If she's cleared and she's ready to go, I'll be interested to see what she can do. But I'm not gonna. I didn't immediately like completely fanboy out over it whenever she did come back.
No.
But damn, I had my train of thought and I lost it. Poop. Talk while I find it.
Well, my thing is, again, it kind of is echoing. It's kind of echoing the idea of like good for her because when anyone has their passion taken away from them and they have to sit on the sidelines and watch other people do what they love to do, it sucks. And I will be.
God bless you.
Thank you. I will be the first person to be like, that's awesome. Good for her. Like good for her that she can get back in there and do what she loves to do. My concern is,
can she?
Even though you're cleared,
is
it a good idea? Like is it? Is it a good plan? Should you? Like, I mean, I understand that there are plenty of people who have come back from either the same thing or worse.
Mm-hmm.
But at what point do you sit there and go, my life and quality, or at minimum, my quality of life is at risk? But even then, at a certain point, my life is worth, this. Like, I don't know. It's cautious optimism. Mm. I understand that she did a lot of great things in WWE, a lot of historic things in WWE, whether it was winning the Divas belt like that or being the first women's champion to cover a belt in jizz. Like my thing is,
was she the first though? Really?
Yeah, well, that's
first documented
publicly. First documented. But joking aside, to her credit,
I never agreed to that.
To Saraya's credit, to her credit, is that like the fact that she can get back out there and do what she does is awesome. But I'm not worried about the quality of the match. I'm worried about her well-being. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm with you on that because now I will say this, like in regards to some of the people that we've seen come back in the most recent years, like Edge being one of them. I definitely popped. I was glad to see him back, and it doesn't look like he really even missed a beat. But there's always a time, like in the back of my mind, I'm always a little concerned for Edge because I don't want anything to happen to him that leaves him, with a diminished quality of life. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like these folks are adults.
They're adults. That's fine.
They can make their own decisions. Yes, I would absolutely feel bad if she came back, like took 3 bumps and got hurt. And couldn't walk again. Like, yeah, that would suck real fucking bad. But I'm not the reason she did it. She's the reason she did it, not me.
Well, yeah,
Yep.
but I know,
Nailed
but when you say like the collective, the royal we, kind of beckoning them like, oh, come back, like, it's one of those things. Like I don't know, if somebody goes away, at least for me personally, and I hope other wrestling fans are there. I'm sure there's some that aren't this way. I'm sure there are some that are like, constantly like would be begging and pleading for people to come back. But like when somebody ends up going away because of a medical injury or whatever, it's like, yeah, it's upsetting, but I don't sit there and like want them to come back necessarily. Like I'm not begging for them to come back, because like we're talking about right now, I would rather see Edge just come back like, as like a guest host at certain, major pay-per-views or something like that, and have a fantastic quality of life and have him be healthy, than to see him get back in the ring and work storylines or something and then get injured and end up in a fucking wheelchair like fucking Draws or something. You know what I mean? Like, and that like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like there's always, I always have this like little pit in my stomach, like whenever Edge has a banger of a match, and I'm just like, oh boy, please don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt. Like, cause I like, he's somebody who has done so much, and it's hard to deny like how good and how important he is in matches and stuff like that, and how great he is to have around. But he could still be a very, very influential presence and still not have to get in the ring and take bumps. So if it comes down to it, like we don't know, like we've said, we don't know if Saraya is cleared to wrestle. I don't believe there's been any reports. Okay. But maybe it'll be that she's come back as, she's coming back and on a, like in some sort of backstage role. It would be weird if they had her kind of debut like that or whatever, just to announce like a backstage role. But then again,
manage
that too.
She honestly, it worked really well with Team Bad. Honestly, like once she kind of fell to the background and she kind of became the mouthpiece for Sasha and Naomi, like things kind of worked out. Yep. I'm here for it, man. Regardless, you can see her passion.
Yeah.
And that's what's exciting. I do want them to be careful, because yes, you don't want to see people get hurt.
Some people I do, not gonna lie.
Unless you're a monster.
I am fair. A monster.
This is all true.
Yes.
But for the most part, you don't wish ill on people, so you always want the best.
Right.
But yeah, I agree. I definitely have my tentativeness here. I think I'm kind of in the same boat as Poot. I'm cautiously optimistic. But that being said, you know what else I'm cautiously optimistic about? Shut the fuck up, man. I make fucking one gaff in fucking 2 hours, and you're all over it, man. You're fucking on it like fucking stink on rice.
Now listen, to be fair, you were going like almost like full blown Ozzy Osbourne somewhere in the first hour. So
yeah, but that wasn't like a gaff though. Anyway. I am fucking confident that we can make the mid-card maniac look silly again tonight, and I'm about that life. You guys about that life?
I am about that life. Beef, I gotta clue you on something. Well, you and Poop, because you guys weren't around for Among Us. Yes. So there was a round that we had that everybody knew that Boonstar was the imposter. I think Omar was his partner, and Omar had to go, so he DC'd. And Boonstar like freely admitted that it was him. And we basically just ended up doing a stat kill Russian roulette and let him kind of win. And at one point we voted Maniac out, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, he's like, why? He's like, why did I come in just to fucking? I come in like once in a blue moon or something, and then I get voted out. It's like, well, that's how it goes. I was like, I figured you'd be used to losing by now.
Oh, Pat.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Pat.
So-
He was begging to be on the show. You know what, Pat? You want to be on the show? You got to throw some fucking hard balls here. All right.
Hard. Hairy balls.
Wait.
Yes.
I'm gonna invite. I'm gonna make an invite onto the show.
Uh-oh.
If this jackass ever catches up and listens to this episode, fucking Big Red Greg, you are more than welcome to come on the show anytime you want, and I will wholeheartedly and openly, happily debate you on why Shawn Michaels is better than Bret Hart.
Ooh.
Any fucking day. Any week. Just do it. Any show you want. I don't care what these other nubs have planned. Fuck them. You show up and we'll have an open and honest discussion. You sumbitch. About why Shawn Michaels is better than Bret Hart.
I was trying to be diplomatic.
I will wholeheartedly, happily shut your fucking cock holster.
That sounds like a fantastic collar and elbow tie-up episode there.
Yeah, but anytime. I don't give a crap. You freaking show up.
Or he can fucking earn his way on like the Maniac does.
He doesn't even have to. He's earned his way on by garnering my rage.
Well, that's like everybody, so...
Tom? Please.
Am I wrong?
Donnie, please. All right, so this collar and elbow tie-up, nope. This...
Wow, 2 in 20 minutes.
Wow, you really want that collar elbow tie-up, which we haven't done one of those in a long time, and I have a perfect idea for one of them, but no one will listen to me. Anyway, Beef, go on.
When did you ever say anything about it? I haven't. I'll listen.
While ago. Anyway, go on.
He's been begging for a collar and elbow tie-up. Anyway.
We'll talk about it after we sign off.
Stump the
Talk about it when I want to, dickhead.
This Stump the Chumps comes to us from our dear friend Pat, who is begging to be on the show again.
Captain Insane.
From July 23rd, because we're kind of backed up on these.
Because we suck.
Well, not that we're backed up. We just we don't do them as often as we used to because we don't get the questions like we used to. Send more questions. We'll do them more often.
How many do we have in the backlog then?
Nothing. This is it. This is it. This is the last one.
Oh.
We did the one. So I think Pat waits for us to do his question before he sends us another question.
Fair enough.
The hell, Pat.
So we did the one from Vapor, and we toasted his ass.
I don't even remember what it was, but
nope,
who
me neither.
cares?
But
What
we
is
did.
this question?
It's regarding SummerSlam. That shows you how long we're out of the loop.
oh, fuck.
What was the first SummerSlam not to feature a match for the Intercontinental Championship?
Oh, let's think.
I'm sorry, run that by me one more time.
What was the first SummerSlam to not feature a match for the Intercontinental Championship?
First one for no. Okay, so what was the first SummerSlam?
88, 89, maybe 87.
Something like that.
I think it came around about WrestleMania 4. I think it came after WrestleMania 4. That would have been 86. So 86, 87, sometime. No, that's not. I don't know. I don't know math. I just know that it's like 86, 87, 88 was the first year.
I want to say it's 88. I want to say it's 88. I have 88 sticks out in my mind because I know we had some sort of SummerSlam question before.
I feel like this is going to be one of those questions that's going to be, oh, well, it's probably an early one, but it's not. I feel like this is something Because, I mean, think about it. Back in the day, they held the IC belt to a fairly nice standard, right? We can all agree.
Yeah,
on that.
man.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
you had the likes of like Honky Tonk Man, that had the title.
Macho Man, Shawn Michaels, like yeah. So like early on, the IC belt was basically treated as like the
Next man up.
Yeah, next man up belt. Like it was actually held in high regard. Razor, Bret Hart, like a bunch of people like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Plus, they only had shows every like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah,
which meant that like they had to finish off storylines of these shows because they were there for. They were literally the blow off matches.
So that's my point, is that I don't think we should think early or in that the quote unquote golden era history. Like I don't think we should think there. I think we should look at the
later on,
Mid-90s. like the new generation Attitude Era, or even into the 2000s. Like I really do.
Well, right off the top of my head, wasn't it this SummerSlam or the last one where it would have been maybe last year's SummerSlam where Finn Balor was the Intercontinental Champion and he wasn't on the card for it, and we were like, what the fuck?
Oh, they've done that a lot, man. They've done a lot. SummerSlams have been missing the mid cards for a while.
Okay. I'm just thinking I'm thinking more recently and then trying to work my way back, but that's one that comes to mind. I don't know if that was
so. You're thinking of it's after the Bret, Shawn, Razor. It's after that era of Intercontinental.
I think so, and I would even go so far as to say it would be after the the PG era, or after the Ruthless Aggression era.
Hello, am I still here?
Yeah,
you're still here. Yeah. Well, now he's not.
Ransom.
Well, now you're back again.
Ransom.
Hello?
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
He's gone again. He back again.
Hello.
Have you tried plugging and unplugging it back in, Ransom?
No, it's proper fucked.
No, he is.
Uh-oh. Everything is
He
fucked.
probably had the answer too. Damn it.
Dear Lord, I don't know what just happened there.
Oh my God, he's back, like fully back. Okay, hi.
Good gravy. Sorry, I was talking and nobody was answering. I'm like, hello? Is it?
Hello. Hello.
I'm disconnected and reconnected. I'm shutting my Discord off and turning it back on. I don't know what's happening.
I think that this may have been mid-90s. After Bret lost it, after Bulldog lost it, after Razor.
Crazy.
Well, I don't
maybe
know, man,
Attitude Era. It may be Attitude Era, maybe.
Dude, the IC belt, even though it wasn't as important in the, like, arguably versus the earlier time, I really want to say it's later than that. That's my gut reaction, because think about when the IC belt stopped holding water. Like, and I'm not saying like conjecture wise, I'm saying really stopped holding water.
Well, hang on. So, okay, let me think. When, like, in the 90s, we had like, like we were saying, like Bret, Razor, people like that. When was the when was the ladder match between Shawn and Razor? Was that 95?
WrestleMania 10. That was
Summer. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking it was SummerSlam. When was the?
Oh.
No, that was a SummerSlam.
I think they had a rematch. That was a ladder match at SummerSlam, but yeah, their initial ladder match at WrestleMania 10.
Okay, yeah, never mind. I'm dumb. Wow.
What year was WrestleMania 10?
Fuck you, I don't know.
Okay, that seems a bit extreme, but all right.
Wait, hold on. Okay, because Razor beat Shawn in the initial ladder match, but when they had the rematch, Shawn beat Razor, right?
No.
I don't know.
Are you
I don't know.
sure?
I don't know, and I don't care. It's not pertinent to this.
It is.
It isn't.
I'm just trying to think after that, who was like a notable.
Things between like Razor Ramon and then like The Rock get real hazy for me. Goldust was in there.
Yeah, but
somewhere in the middle.
So I don't know.
There were some outlier champs as well too that I don't really think back to. Terry Funk was never a. No, that would have been later. That would have been 99, 98, 99. But I don't think he was ever an Intercontinental title. Was freaking that guy one of them?
Oh yeah, that guy.
Mankind, was he an Intercontinental champion? No, Mankind. No. He wasn't around then. Jarrett, but I don't know. I think Poot, I can't remember what all you heard of me before I disconnected, but I think Poot, were you saying that you believe this occurred after the Michaels, Razor, Brett era?
That's what I was saying.
I'm saying
that's what I was saying.
I'm saying we need to be saying late 90s. I'm thinking further. I'm thinking further.
Mid to late, like 96, 97. Hold on, though. There was a time where Owen and Yoko were tag team champions.
Mm-hmm. I'm the tag team champions.
I think Owen was also the IC belt champion. So he had both the IC and the tag team titles and like the Slammies. So I think he had a lot of gold.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they didn't have a tag team title defense when he was also Intercontinental champion, thus precluding him from defending the IC belt.
That would have probably been in around like 97, because Stone Cold beat Owen for the IC title. Because that was whenever fucking.
I don't think Yoko was around in 97 though.
Well, no. I'm saying whenever Owen was an IC champ.
That would have been like second. That would have been like his like Blackheart phase though.
Maybe but that was whenever.
I'm talking about King of Hearts, like 2-time Slammy Award winner.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, I wonder. I think at one point he was a double champion, and that precluded him from defending it because they had a tag team title defense. I'm not saying for certain.
Yeah.
I'm saying I think that was the case.
I think you're onto something. Here's a thought, and if Pat's really trying to throw us down the rabbit hole, wasn't there a SummerSlam that was here in Pittsburgh? I believe
that probably was.
I believe that was like somewhere back in the mid 90s.
I don't recall.
I want to say
not that I recall. SummerSlam was a big like West Coast show for a while.
Yeah, it has been lately, but it's been on the East Coast and stuff. It's been to like New York and Philly.
Yeah, New York. I don't know if it's been Philly.
No, it's definitely been to Philly.
Is this? Do you have a point with this, Tom?
I'm thinking that the Maniac is either trying to throw us in a rabbit hole of picking the SummerSlam that was in Pittsburgh or sometime around there. And I feel like Beef, I feel like you were on the right track with it, saying like in like mid 90s, because I feel like it's somewhere around that time. I feel like there's one. I feel like it's one of those ones where there was like it happened once, and then it was like back to Intercontinental title defenses as regularly scheduled in SummerSlams. But I feel like you're right. I feel like there was a weird, funky time somewhere in the mid 90s where.
Ransom, back me up here. Owen was definitely like Intercontinental champion whenever him and Yoko were champs, right?
I think he was a double champ at one point, and it would make sense if it was around the time of him tagging with Yokozuna.
Mm-hmm.
Because wasn't Jim Cornette their manager?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Vader came in and upset the apple cart.
So that makes sense. I keep thinking back though, like as I like to go back and watch old WWE things. Wasn't there I could have swore there was a SummerSlam where there was a title defense that was scheduled, but somebody got hurt. So instead of like rebooking it, they just didn't have that match.
I mean, probably. But
I can't for the life of me at the moment think of who that was. I mean, if we think of who it was, we might be able to pinpoint the time frame. Gross. I'm just trying to think of like who would have been hurt.
I wouldn't even. I don't. I mean, I'm honestly grasping at straws here. This is a really good question.
So, wait a minute.
So who before? Okay, so all right. If we can think back, Owen was the Stone Cold had it before The Rock.
Yeah.
Owen had it before Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Who had it before Owen? I'm trying to think who was like a big deal.
Jarrett?
Maybe, yeah, he had to have been.
Because Owen was a face at that point, and Austin was a heel, right? Or no, that would have been after the face turn.
Yeah, that was after that was after the Owen. That was after the Stone Cold Brett passing out in the pool of blood in the sharpshooter match. That was after that. So Owen was a heel.
I would say I'm
trying to think of like who was a big-ish deal.
The Rock
in like the mid '90s, but not that big a deal to be.
I mean, if you're talking early attitude, like
Triple
Val
H
Venus,
and Brock.
Val Venus. Oh, Triple H. Triple H held the belt before Owen. Owen beat Triple H for the title, I think.
So who Triple H beat?
No, didn't Owen? No, Owen beat. Owen won it in a tournament because it was vacated at one point, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, well, who vacated it then?
Are you sure you're not thinking of the European title? Or no, Bulldog won that one.
Damn it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I remember the Razor Jarrett feud for the IC title.
When was that?
94, 95, I want to say.
Okay.
And then I remember, like, Rock, Austin, Triple H, Ken Shamrock all having the belt.
Yeah, but this would have been before that.
There's like a gap in there, and like I said, Goldust was in there for sure. I know that Goldust was an IC champion. Title.
Yeah. Yep. Who did he feud with for the IC
title? Razor.
Yeah. All right.
So I think the timeline would have went like Razor Jarrett, and then Razor Goldust, and then poof.
Did Ahmed Johnson hold that title?
Yes.
He did. Absolutely, he did.
Yes. He was. I think he was a 10 champion.
Because when I think of that time frame, like Ahmed Johnson, he was always fucking hurt.
Yes.
And if it's a SummerSlam that I'm thinking of correctly, that there was supposed to have been a match, but somebody was hurt. The only person I could think of that would have been Intercontinental Champion around that time that would have probably been hurt. And they were just like, well, let's just scrap the match. The only person I could think of is Ahmed Johnson.
That would have been like 96.
96?
That sounds about right.
That was honestly my feeling was 96, 97, sometime there.
Because Ahmed Johnson would have been champ around, somewhere between 95 and 97 probably.
Fuck it. I'll say 1996.
I think it's I want to say
I think.
96. I don't know. We don't have to say who was involved, right, do we?
Nope.
No.
He just wants the year.
I've been sitting back here not really saying much because I don't think I'm going to be able to convince you guys that it's outside of the scope of the like Attitude Era. I really think that we're thinking too early. I really do.
I agree, but I think Ransom's right. I think there was a time where somebody got hurt and they just scrapped the match. Because you're 100% right, Poot. I think that the IC title absolutely was a feature point of a lot of SummerSlams.
Well, and I think if there were any injuries at that point, they wouldn't have kiboshed the match. I think they would have just put people in it to...
No. Not if the champ got hurt. WWE has never been one to say, oh, well, the champion's hurt, so we're going to just do a different title match. I absolutely think it's 96. If not 96, it's 97.
I'm saying 96.
You're gonna say 96.
I am.
Then you know what? I'm not gonna convince you guys elsewise. If I had to gun to my head, pick a year, and this is not gonna count towards our answer, but gun to my head, I would say probably somewhere around 2009 to 2011.
Wow, that late.
I know it's late, and that's what I was trying to slowly guide you guys towards, but everybody seems to really have their, like, you know what I mean? Like, so, and that's not me getting frustrated or angry, because I don't really know either, but I'll go with the consensus here. So I'll go with you guys, because usually you guys pull a dark one here, so go ahead.
We're good with 96.
Ransom?
Yeah, I'm good with 96.
Okay.
All right. This is absolutely spaghetti on the wall. Mid-card Maniac, I think you got it. Even if we somehow get this right, I think you absolutely had us on the back. So we'll see. Set to start in 98. SummerSlam always featured Intercontinental Championship match until 1996.
Nice.
Wow.
Once again, the combined powers of the Tiger in the Jungle with the Encyclopedia and the Madman have conquered.
I see this one. I was completely on the outs with. Like, I was just like,
I really felt like it was mid-90s. I couldn't pinpoint it, but with the help of you two, I absolutely got there. So.
Trust me, Poot, there have been many a times where I have been sitting here just soaking it in and going with the collective, because there's been ones that I have been no fucking clue at all, and like the three of you have big brained it.
That one I was.
Does the Maniac give any other details?
He did not. No.
Oh.
All right.
Somebody look up SummerSlam 96 and find out what the fudge happened.
I'm working on it.
Who's got the faster fingers?
Giggity.
Well, giggity goo.
Okay.
Got it. All right. SummerSlam 96. You want just what the matches were then for that card?
No, I don't. I just want to know if they mentioned anything about why the Intercontinental title wasn't featured.
Farouk had been scheduled to face Ahmed Johnson in a match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, but the match did not take place as Johnson was legitimately injured. Fucking Ransom, man. He fucking just has these innate, like, deep-seated knowledge in his core that he's like, I got a feeling. And that's what I'm saying. Like, like he is a super sleuth. And all that we need to do is get Ransom in the ballpark, and he can get us the rest of the way.
And looking up the stuff here, just looking up the different events. SummerSlam 96 was in Cleveland, Ohio. Guess where SummerSlam 1995 was?
Pittsburgh?
Yup.
Fair enough.
In the Civic Arena.
I can remember things that happened in the past, but I just can't pick a damn card to freaking save my life.
That's what I'm saying. Like we get you there most of the way, and you get us the rest of the way. And Poot, you're allowed a freebie on this one because you're pretty instrumental in a lot of these. So we all have our times, my dude.
Yeah, it was just one of those things that I was like, well, I really thought, I'm like, okay, this is going to be one of those things, and it was not one of those things.
Most importantly, though,
there could have been, like, I'm interested to see the SummerSlams within Poot's time frame to see if he was right, like, because he very well could be.
Yeah, good Lord, Beef, you were pretty right on the fact of it being like a West Coast thing from 2009 through 2014. It was in the Staples Center in LA, and then it moved to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, from 2015 through 2018. Then we had it in Toronto in 19, Florida in 2020 with the Thunderdome.
Oh, right, pandemic, right.
Paradise, Nevada, Allegiant. Okay, yeah, Allegiant Stadium. That was 2021, and then Nashville this year. So
doesn't Thunderdome feel like an eternity ago?
Oh, thank God,
man.
yes, it does.
Yeah,
I was really hoping that this monkeypox thing would have taken off, just so we could have gotten the Thunderdome back.
Honestly,
really hoping the monkeypox would have taken off. They bring back Thunderdome, they bring back Goldberg, all the good things come back. Ryback shows back up. Come on.
Honestly, I preferred the Performance Center to the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
I preferred like having no fans and having like you right.
Performed fellatio.
Yeah.
Pat, at the end of the day, you had a really, really, really good question, and like I said, you had us for a minute. By the way, the next pay-per-view the next SummerSlam to not feature the Intercontinental was in 2003. So Poot had some credence there as well. Pat, you had us on the ropes, man, but you just don't have that killer instinct because once again, the champs reign supreme. You brought the fire, but you don't get an appearance. No soup for you. Because once again, Pat, you lose. And you get nothing.
Oh, fuck.
Was really hoping that Beef would have flubbed that up, and I could have just busted his balls.
How dare you? How dare you? Poot, do the thing. Say something.
Thank you all very much for listening to the P3 podcast. Make sure to go check out our very own Tiger Bomb Tom and his Casual Gaming Dad channel over on Facebook. That's right, Casual Gaming Dad, for all of your fun video game streaming needs. And make sure you join Casual Gaming Dad's Corner. And make sure you go on over to gouldgaming.com. Search on Casual Gaming Dad. Again, that's gouldgaming.com, and buy some awesome Casual Gaming Dad merch, including your very own Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast t-shirt. Be like those cool guys up in Michigan, right? Michigan? Was it Michigan?
Yeah.
Yeah, up in Michigan, who have their own shirts. We know who you are, and we appreciate your faces. We also want to thank Frigoff Ransom, our very own Ransom the Madman, and his channel over on YouTube, and my very dead channel, Poot the Bard, over on YouTube. This very dead channel. We also want to thank, you know what? I'll thank him, Mr. Beef the Legend and Beef Raw. Want to thank it. Did a great job.
Beef.
Always awesome. And we want to also thank Mr. Sean Tischler and his work with independent wrestling in the central Pennsylvania area. We had still a couple weeks out. We had a great time at the event here in Clearfield. It was an absolute blast. Brian Pillman Jr. was super cool. Tom is the belt handler for Brian Pillman Jr.
I forgot to, and I'm sorry I didn't post the pictures. Life happens. But yeah, I have pictures from that IWC event. I will get them posted soon. Maybe even before this episode actually comes out. We'll see. But I got to handle the weight belt. He said, "Here, hold this for me." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah,
so I literally.
He like came over to Tom and was like, "Here, you hold this," and Tom was like, "Oh, okay, Mr. Pillman Jr."
A little bit.
It was actually really cool. So thank you, Sean, for your work, and we hope your wife is doing well. For myself, the Barbarian Poot the Bard, for Mr. Casual Gaming
Easy for you to say.
For our very own Casual Gaming Dad himself, Mr. Tiger.
Uppercut.
Bomb Tom. We want to thank our very own resident madman, Ransom, over there, and our wrestling encyclopedia, Mr. Beef the Legend. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Check out Beef on beefflubs.com.